Hello, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Jordan Rubio, and today I'm going to be talking about the cutting board guy. What is the cutting board guy? Who is the cutting board guy? And a little bit of history about the business. So basically, he started off, his name is Jose Rubio. That's my dad. He started off working at 16 years old. When he was 16, he would go to ATCO. He started working at ATCO, and what he would do is he would go through all of El Paso and update the sample chains and just put the sample chains through all of the shops that needed sample chains and samples and just update all the boards. And then he had to like go to the back of the shop and started to use a forklift and started to unload the back of the truck. And that's kind of how you work your way up. After ATCO closed down, his shop foreman called him and said, "Hey, do you want to go work with me?" And he was like, "Yeah, do you want to go work with him?" And that's basically how he started to do carpentry, and it just continued it for a long time. I'm not sure, but it's been over 20 years that he's been working with carpentry skills and like carpentry. So he's been there for a long time. So what happened was you basically work your way up from the ground up. You go update the sample board, go update the sample board, go update the sample board. All right, now what you got to do is you got to go sweep. Now go sweep, go sweep. And now you can spray, and now you can start to build the countertops, and now you can start to do all this. Now you can start to cut. Now you can start to take measurements. Now you can start to do all of that. And that's what he had to do to go through the motions and go through all of the hard work first before he could start to get good and just build this desk right here. He built a desk before you can start to build stuff like this, and before you can start to make cutting boards and build solid surface material. So this is a Formica top, or a Formica like top. It's a not a difficult material to work with, but I'm not gonna say anything because when I tried to do the carpentry process and I tried to be a carpenter, it didn't work out. Like, it's very stressful, and you have to have a lot of patience and a lot of patience, a lot of patience. And my patience wore thin, and I ended up having to leave. So the fact that he was able to stay there for as long as he did, it says a lot about him and who his character and who he is. If you ever see him, or if you're ever passing by, you'll always see this dude in the garage just working, like cutting stuff. Like, it's so weird sometimes. Like, if I feel like if I were driving down the street and I'm new to El Paso and I'm just in the neighborhood and I just see some old man just like cutting something, it's kind of funny. That's how it is. He's just always in his garage, just like a mad scientist. It's weird, but he's always trying to figure out. He's just making cutting boards. He's just doing something. I don't know. I don't know what he's doing. So it's pretty funny to see, but that's how he is. But he started to make the cutting boards as Christmas gifts, and it first started off as a Christmas gift. And my mom needed Christmas gifts for some reason, and he was like, "Oh, we'll make chilies and we'll sell them." And then that's how it grew from there. So we started off at a church, and then we went to this other farmers market from that Destination El Paso holds. It's like a Christmas fair, and we ended up selling out and got in trouble because you're not supposed to sell out. So he ended up selling out of all his products, all of it, and um, we couldn't do anything because like there was still like 5 hours left and we had nothing to sell. So because it was very hard work to make one of these. The time lapse is, for me, if I'm gonna make you one, I take me a minute. It take me a minute because I gotta buy the material, I gotta take the measurements, gotta cut them all out, gotta sand them and sand them. There's just a lot of time. He's gotten good at it. He's just throwing them out there. But sometimes that's not even enough because they're all handmade products. They're not a CNC machine. They're not none of that. They're all handmade. So that's kind of one of the different. You can tell because everyone is different. Every cutting board that you get is made for you. Or yeah, that's how it is. Every cutting board that you get is going to be made for you because there's not one person that has a like cutting board, and it might not ever be like that because to keep it handmade kind of keeps kind of the artistic and farmery, just it keeps the handmade quality to it because it's handmade. Here I made this by hand, or here he made this by hand for you to use, and they last forever. This one that I'm holding around and like throwing like this one we've had for 15 years. It's a 15-year-old. This is older than my baby brother. This is older than my baby brother, or as old as my baby brother. Definitely older than my sister, and it still looks good. Like, look, you shine it in the light, you can see through it. It's got lots of scratches. It's a cool color. that's just that's kind of the quality that he presents to you is, yeah, this thing will last forever. Here, have it for a really 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 good price. It's like $35, $25 for a cutting board, and for all the work that honestly goes into it, that's just a great deal, I think. But that's why a lot of times it gets sold out. A lot of people come from El Paso and they kind of try to just meet the cutting board. They just sometimes they kind of just not. I'm not saying people come just to meet him, but it's that's one of the things like at the downtown farmers market is like this is a dude that El Paso made. This is how he made. Like he started off when he was 16, worked his way up through the whole process, and now he just makes cutting boards as a side project. And now like it's just that's just how kind of like gives you a little bit of insight of who he is basically. So after all the history and all of that, like getting to know Mr. Jose or Mr. Rubio, Mr. Rubio's I call him, his name is Joey. That's how everybody knows him as, is Joey. I know him as Dad, Dada. Jose Rubio is like his formal name, and Mr. Rubio is what they call him, like at the bank and stuff, and like or just anybody that he's working with is Mr. Rubio. So that's who he is. Kind of giving you a little insight about him. He works very very hard, constantly, constantly. If I add up all the hours that this guy's been in the garage, it's definitely over 200 hours this year, half the year, definitely over 200 hours around there, making stuff, making something, making something, making something, and he just doesn't stop. He's a machine, just doesn't stop. I don't know how he does it. I try, but I don't know how he does it. Some future goals and expectations is that business slowed down during COVID. We sold a lot. He's got an Instagram if you want to go check it out. It's the Cutting Board Guy. He's got an Instagram where you can see kind of what the products are and stuff. But that's where we would make most of the sales, is off Instagram. He would ship them out to people who wants to buy it from, a lot of people who buy it from out of state. We can ship to you. And basically what we're trying to do now is build a website. So that's one of the things that one of our goals for this year is to have a functional website where we can take orders and make custom orders and just make them to order for customers. But just hope we don't sell out, hope it doesn't get to the point to where we can't do it, and eventually make a shop and do all of that. So that's what we're going to do. He's planning on expanding the business, getting his own shop. He's working on the works. Like he's already looking to buy a shop. He's already kind of one step ahead, but there's just no area that we can have right now. So slowly but surely growing, and as well as the website. Like I said, working on the website and some citations that we have. Destination El Paso is where the Christmas fair is. The farmers market in El Paso, like the downtown farmers market, is where he's mainly posted at, like his main area. And the Alto Atco company, before it closed down, kind of giving them credit a little bit. Countertops Plus, if you want to check out their Facebook profile, they make really good countertops, really good quality countertops. And his Instagram is also cited on there. So I'll post the presentation for you guys to see if you want to check out the links and like look at the stuff. And if you want to check out his Instagram so you can see some of the cutting boards and the other cutting boards, that would be great. So thank you for your time. I really appreciate it if you check out the Cutting Board Guy's Instagram and give him a message saying that you saw the presentation through your son. Thank you very much. Have a good one.